The Gupta brothers are in news again. They have been nabbed in the UAE following a global cat and mouse game. Let's introduce you to them. This is Rajesh Gupta and this is Atul Gupta. They were once the be-all and end-all of South African power. Today, the country is desperate to see them in court. Many want the Gupta brothers in orange overalls. This is a story of their rise and fall. And it begins in Saharanpur, a small town in India's most populous state of Uttar Pradesh. The Gupta brothers were born to a local shopkeeper, Shiv Kumar Gupta, and his wife. The family made a living by selling government ration in a tiny shop. When the brothers grew up, Ajay, the oldest brother, set up a computer import business in New Delhi. Soon he went looking for opportunities in Russia, China and Singapore. Atul, the middle brother, went to South Africa. This was in 1993. There was apartheid violence and political killings, but Atul reportedly fell in love with the country. He settled in Johannesburg and began selling shoes. In 1994, the apartheid came to an end. South Africa became a democracy, the country opened up, and Atul Gupta started a computer business in this country. He named it Sahara. Atul made some money, he found success, but back home his father had died. Soon the whole family moved to Johannesburg. By then, Atul had already cultivated ties with the leading party. I'm talking about the African National Congress. When older brother Ajay moved to South Africa, he built close ties with Thabo Mbeki, a senior leader who soon became the president of the country. Ajay was also involved in one of Mbeki's businesses. It was in the 2000s that the Gupta brothers bagged their first big government contract. They were to set up computer labs in schools. Reports say it's then that their loot began. The peak came in the year 2009. Jacob Zuma became the president of South Africa. The Guptas made Zuma's son their business partner. In fact, sons of other powerful politicians were also on their payroll. The youngest Gupta brother, Rajesh, aka Tony, was made in charge of keeping these sons of politicians happy. Tony took them to nightclubs, hung out with them, took them to Dubai, to India, paid for their first-class tickets, luxurious hotels. The brothers leveraged this proximity to powerful families to win government contracts. During the Zuma era, the Gupta brothers bought a coal mine through government intervention. They set up a media business. They were also acting as fixers for foreign businesses and giving leaders handsome kickbacks. Before you knew it, the Gupta brothers of Saharanpur became one of the richest families in South Africa. They were flying around the world in their swanky private jet, landing in their hometown for the groundbreaking of a $12 million temple in their father's memory, producing Bollywood movies. In short, the Gupta brothers had arrived. In 2013, they chartered a plane and flew 200 guests from India to Sun City in South Africa. This plane landed in a military airbase, one that was supposed to be out of bounds for private use. And that landing marked a U-turn in their story. South Africa became suspicious. People began questioning the Gupta brothers' proximity to Zuma. In 2015, South Africa's Deputy Finance Minister gave an interview. He said the Guptas had bribed him to accept the job. What followed was the biggest scandal of post-apartheid South Africa. It was revealed that the Guptas siphoned money from state-owned companies, from transport to power to arms. The Guptas stole money from everywhere. We are talking about more than 500 billion rand. That's around 3.5 trillion Indian rupees. That's how big the scam was. The Guptas were not just siphoning money, they also became power brokers. They were taking calls on who Zuma should and should not appoint to the cabinet. Some 100,000 leaked emails revealed the nexus between Zuma and the Guptas, or what came to be known as the Zuptas. Protests followed. Zuma was forced to step down. The Guptas fled to Dubai to evade arrest. In 2018, South Africa filed a case against them. They were accused of fraud and money laundering. Soon, newly elected President Cyril Ramaphosa wrote to the UAE. He wanted the Emirates to extradite the Gupta family. The United States and the United Kingdom declared them persona non grata. The family was slapped with visa bans. Their assets were frozen. Earlier this year, Interpol issued a red corner notice against Rajesh and Atul Gupta. The Dubai police has now confirmed their arrest. The Gupta brothers are now in their late 40s and 50s. They deny all wrongdoing. They say they became scapegoats because they are outsiders in South Africa. And the story does not end with their arrest. There are several questions that remain unanswered. For starters, will the arrest lead to an extradition? The UAE and South Africa have a treaty in place, but that alone does not guarantee an immediate extradition. Also, what happens to the third brother? He has neither been named in the notice, nor has he been arrested. Also, what kind of sentence do the brothers face in South Africa? We'll continue tracking this story for you and looking for answers to all of these questions. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.